What are we doing on this fine, sunny kind of day in Vancouver?
Friendship on the road. That's what we're doing. Caleb's meeting up with one of his friends that he met last summer in Whistler. And then you and I are gonna go finish up this video, find Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And wrap up a few things.
Oh yeah. Look at him brushing his teeth.
Look at him brushing his teeth.
Aren't girls great?
Canadian tree.
Look at you.
That was great.
Nice meeting you.
Okay, you guys.
See you later.
Ciao.
There goes Dale in his 450.
Are you gonna be okay?
I'll be all right. I'll be all right. Through the border, past the interrogation, he asked if we had any citrus. So the only problem with not having reservations sometimes is you have to go through all the drama of not having a reservation. It goes like this. Hi, I'd like to check in. Do you have a reservation? No. All right, well, we're full. We're full. And that's a trailer? Yeah, it's a trailer. Oh, okay. Well, I called yesterday to see if you had availability and it didn't seem like a problem. Did you tell me you had a trailer? I have no idea. I have no idea why that matters, but no, I don't think I mentioned that. Well, we have one site available. It's 50 amp. That's fine. 50 amp's good. Okay, but it's a nice site. It's wider than most. It's really nice. But
do they want to tip you?
why do we have to go through all of that? If I'm coming across arrogant at all, we've been driving for a long time.
3 days.
And we're tired. And
haven't had food yet.
we're just and we haven't eaten in a while, and we need to regroup. So yeah, look at this site 88. A super nice site.
Nice.
No, we don't have
Let me
Wi-Fi.
set up a time lapse of backing in and setting up. All set up. So now, got the water heater going. I'm gonna take a shower. And then Trisha's going off to Whole Foods to get some groceries. And we're gonna spend the next 2 days editing. And we're gonna regroup, as we've mentioned several times. And we're gonna get recentered. And we're also gonna share some ideas on how not to ruin a perfectly good RV trip. Focus?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I've got some notes here on how to ruin a perfectly good RV trip.
How would we be able to create that, you ask?
Exactly.
Because the way home from Alaska was a little challenging.
It was, and the video didn't show it, and a lot of the reasons it didn't show it is because it happened at nighttime. And recording at night is a little bit more difficult because of the GoPro doesn't show up in the car. And it's just kind of hard to capture the irritating things.
When you're over something, it's kind of hard to turn on the camera and be like, I'm over this.
But in hindsight, we're able to share with you some ideas so that you can smooth out some of those rough edges when it comes to RVing.
Very nice. Very
All right,
nice.
so we've got top 10 lists. Trish,
Okay.
take it off.
Number one, it's always our number one.
Mm-hmm.
Being in a hurry takes the fun out of everything,
It really does.
especially RVing.
And the reason it comes up so much is because I'm in a hurry most of the time, and I keep relearning the lesson. It kind of reminds me I never repeat the same mistake twice. I repeat it 7 or 8 times just to make sure I've got it.
Yes.
And that's my number one. Being in a hurry. Being in a hurry to set up, being in a hurry to get there, all that stuff. All right, number 2.
Let's see. Letting the small things grow into a big problem. What does that mean?
Remember when we pulled into Skagway and the truck was beeping and saying that you're low on fuel and you're low on DEF and you need windshield wiper fluids and all these things?
It's like, knock, knock.
Yeah, that's what was happening. As we were coming back from Alaska, we were just running low on everything. And all of these little things ended up creating kind of a fatiguing environment. And you like to make the bed in the morning.
I like just things to have like a little bit of a pace, right?
Yes.
And so that you know in your mind things are like put together. So anyway,
Yes.
just remember what are the things that nag on you and see if you can get rid of those things so that your trip can go a little bit smoother.
Okay, number 3, over planning.
Yeah, sometimes when you're like over finessing a trip, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that and we're gonna do this, it gets like really hyper. And especially if you only have your
2 o'clock.
awesome 2 o'clock, everyone has a schedule and we're going out. So anyway, it reminds me of Meet the Parents, how he had an agenda for everybody.
Yes.
So anyway, if you over plan and maybe not let the trip kind of unfold, you might feel stressed out. When you get home, you're like, I need a vacation from my vacation. So
Yes.
anyway, that's just one of the things to think about.
Oh, this was yours. Not making it work for everyone.
Okay, well, for us, we usually have 5 people. This season, we had 4 people in the rig. And if we don't take like a little bit of a poll on what everybody wants to do, then pretty much we're just dragging the people that don't want to do it along.
Are you suggesting that Carson and Caleb don't want to go on hikes every weekend?
Or a farmer's market. I literally had to tell them that I would buy them chocolate cups.
Oh, we're
Reese's
all into
Pieces.
bribing. We are all
totally.
into bribing.
You want a soda? Today's soda day!
Yes.
So anyway, but asking them, even if it comes down to like, hey, we're going to go to the farmer's market, which is not what they want to do, but it's totally what I want to do. What do you guys want for dinner? I want a steak. That's the first thing out of their mouth all the time. Okay, let's find a steak. So they were in.
Yes.
And so that's kind of exciting. So even if you are forcing some of your kids to do things that they don't want to do, or your spouse, maybe there's something in it for them while they're there.
All right, number 5, trying to cover too much ground. Now this is interesting because we get a lot of emails from people that say, hey, I'm going from California to Maine. I've got 10 days. Where should I stay? I mean, we get a lot of emails like this.
We
and you know
really
what?
do.
We did the same thing.
We did.
When I emailed Mark and Emily, and I said, okay, we're going to do 6 months and we're going to go around the entire United States.
We're
Emily
seeing
was
everything.
like, seems a little fast.
Seems
but
a little
anyhow,
fast.
so
But we did
trying
it.
to cover too much ground, which is exactly what we did from Skagway to Vancouver in like 3 or 4 days. It is a bit of a recipe for disaster because when you're covering that much ground, you run low on resources and energy. And you're more susceptible to flat tires. We picked up a screw at like midnight. There's just things that are going to happen.
Or picking on each other.
Exactly.
And so then you don't have like that emotional cushion to deal with everybody in a tiny space.
Yes.
So you really need to think about that because you like good moods in a tiny rig. This is not a tiny rig. This is a fabulous rig. But when we had Ginger 1, we had all the kids kind of like on top of each other. And if someone was in a bad mood, it showed really fast.
Yeah.
So,
and so
one
solution
high.
for that is just kind of plan on maybe getting where you need to get by 3 in the afternoon so that you have some time, so that you have time. It just takes the pressure off of everything.
We might be the worst people to tell you that because sometimes
we know this because we make these mistakes,
because
right?
we make these mistakes. But anyway, if you can do that,
yes.
be good.
Actually, that leads right into number 6, arriving in the dark.
Super bad.
Sometimes there's nothing more stressful than trying to get into back into a site at night.
Yes.
Particularly if you don't have proper lighting or if it's a tight site. So
or if it's not level. Or if you're in a tight, like you're saying, tight, and some people go to bed early, so you're like backing in, ruining people's sleep, and you're like trying to put a slide out. And
it's a little stressful.
It's just super...
Not getting gas or fuel when it's convenient and easy. In fact,
I might be a bad offender on that one.
Well, it happened to us when we were driving home from Alaska. So it's taken us about 20 minutes to find fuel. And I was forced to come into this gas station. Chevron didn't accept retail customers. Now I'm over at a Flying J, having to go inside. Not ideal conditions to come in here, but we did it anyway. Now we're trying to find food. And we let it run to E, and so now we had to get fuel. And the problem with having to get fuel is now you have to go to a gas station that you would not normally ever want to pull into, but you have to anyway.
It's like threading a needle.
That is a problem. And if you're tired, and if you've been covering too much ground, you see how these things start stacking up. So when it shows a half tank or a quarter tank, that's probably a good time to start looking for
and
a
then
place
you
to get
finally
fuel.
get yourself all nosed in somewhere with your big long rig, and you realize they don't sell diesel. That happens.
Or it's out of service, and you got to back out. Okay.
Bad.
Number 8, not finding solutions to small problems. This is an interesting one because we get emails from people sometimes that say, we went out for a week and it was a disaster. I don't know how you guys do this full time.
Oh, yeah.
Part of the reason that we're able to do it full time is we solve the problems. So
solve little things.
There's an expression that I love called you get what you tolerate.
Yes.
And sometimes when you're out for 3 or 5 days, you tolerate a lot. When you're out for a longer period of time,
you're going home.
That's right. We're going to be back home in a week. I'm just going to deal with it. When you're out for a longer period of time, you don't deal with it. You solve it. Okay, number 9, and this is yours. Find the right balance of dry camping and RV parks for your family.
Right. Okay. So we tend to do that. We'd love to do more dry camping. It's just that we make so much food for us. We make so much food that I'm constantly doing dishes and I feel behind when I'm dry camping because I know I can't use my water resources. So anyway, whatever it is for you, make sure that it works. And if you were like one or the other and your spouse or partner is not, they're not coming back.
Yeah. Okay, number 10, another one for you, meal planning and groceries.
Oh yeah, okay. So one of the things that I love doing is when we're going into a new place, have that first night ready. So we've spent the whole day driving, navigating, like there's a lot of mental, physical energy that goes into getting somewhere. We've set up. I want to have a meal going while Mark's outside and vice versa if whomever is setting up and whomever is in charge of cooking. I want to make sure that that's ready to go. So we're not thinking, okay, so now where do we have to go to dinner? I know a lot of people have texted us and said they order pizza. So that's like super easy. And they call whatever pizza place will deliver to the RV park. They break open a bottle of wine, they have pizza, they look at their view, then they plan out their trip. But sometimes when you land, you've spent all day getting somewhere, you land, and then you have to think about dinner. It's exhausting.
Okay, so there you have it. I hope that was helpful. Top 10 ways to ruin a perfectly good RV trip. Hopefully you got something.
So that you don't ruin yours.
Yes, you don't ruin yours.
You can land and you can run and have fun, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
All right, still a bunch left to do in Vancouver. So now let's teleport back to Vancouver. Well, we're in Vancouver.
Do you like our spacious site?
Look at this.
Huh? Wait, you can't see it in the...
I can't?
This way.
You know what though?
This is city living. It's worth it.
It's city living.
Vancouver's worth it.
All right, so what are we gonna do, Trish?
Well, for this very moment, it's not raining, which is so exciting. So we're trying to get out. We're going to Granville Island. I guess it has one of the best little marketplaces, but we get to drive through Stanley Park to get there.
All right, so we're gonna pop in the truck, drive to Stanley Park, go over to Granville, see if there's a market, get some like fruits and veggies.
Well, we're crossing a border tomorrow, so maybe I have to exhibit some restraint.
So
I'll buy a bag of oranges.
So basically what you're saying is we can get anything we want. Hold on, before I leave, I'm gonna flip the camera around so that you can see what this RV park looks like.
Oh yeah, see if it's right for you.
And then I'm gonna shift it to time-lapse mode so you can see the drive over the bridge through Stanley Park into Granville. Cool? Downtown Vancouver, and it is busy here. It's reminiscent of Chicago, Toronto, Boston. I mean,
Okay, one more street.
not in every category, but just in the fact that there is a lot going on here. Lots of crosswalks, delivery trucks, buses.
It's very exciting.
Trish loves it. I love it too. I love driving in the city.
Okay, you gotta be careful here. I don't know about this right on red.
I wish I had two cameras going.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is.
Are we turning right?
Yeah, we get to turn right, but look, these people aren't paying attention.
No.
So watch out. Leaving.
Hold on real quick.
Legoland.
By the way, what Trish is doing right now is taking a little Instagram story. Every once in a while, we're in a place where we like to do a little Instagram story, which if you're interested in like super real time, it's only every once in a while, mind you.
That is the cutest system I've ever seen. For $11, you can get on that and go to like, I don't know, 5, 6 different places, maybe 9, I'm not sure.
Yep.
But $11 for an all-day pass and it drops you off in all the cool places in Vancouver and then you get to see the city by water.
That sounds cool.
That sounds really cool. But we only have a 3-hour parking spot, so we can't go do that.
Yes. What else was we gonna say? Oh, this market is a lot of fun, and I had no idea how much I actually like to record fruit. Apparently, you know, I learned in Skagway that I like to record flowers. Now I like to record fruit.
All right.
All
good.
these new things.
All these new things.
Let's go hit a museum.
Right. How much are these?
3 for 25, one can.
So you're looking for 37 cents. And it was
We're in Stanley Park and it might rain, so I've got the GoPro. Not my favorite camera anymore. I pretty much only use it for time lapse and dash cam, but in case it rains, this is what we have, and then I can clip it to places and we can walk around this pretty little park. Might even rent some bikes. But we gotta pay for parking and then we're gonna walk to the water edge. Okay, as Trish and I were walking along the shoreline here, we noticed two things. We noticed this in Toronto too. All the buildings kind of look the same, don't they? Trish was wondering if maybe there's like some city code that
City
they have
ordinance.
city ordinance they have to have the same like colored glass and the same type of design.
Anybody from Vancouver, or as the kids like to call it, Vancouver?
Vancouver.
Are there any Vancouvers out there that know why the city has very similar buildings?
I think it's
Vancouver.
kind of cool. I think they're treating their city like an Instagram feed. Everything matches. I like it. And then the other thing is, we were looking over at these houses, kind of like Sleepless in Seattle, but Sleepless in Vancouver. Those houses that float, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And this one house had their boat tucked in between their house. It's like a private little slip
Pretty
right next to
cool.
the house.
I said those people are dedicated to their water experience. I like it.
I like it too. All right, are you ready? Oh my gosh, look at that cup and that shirt. We gotta talk about that. All right, Trish, come on, you gotta show everybody.
Oh, check this out. Dun, 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 dun.
And Trish didn't even wear that shirt because we were at the Insider meetup and I don't know, it wasn't really a meetup, like our Insider Coffee.
Yes.
And Tracy.
Brought this. How fun is that? So I had to get dressed in this shirt this morning.
Oh, you did wear it intentionally.
Oh, I had to.
Oh,
yes,
okay,
I had to. I
alright.
mean, because the cup is now a part of my life.
Yes.
So I gotta, like, you know, wear the shirt.
That's funny. All right, let's put in Seattle.
We're going through the border, kiddo. Hold on. Do we get to go up to that stop sign?
Wife and two boys.
You guys are from Scottsdale?
We are.
What are you guys doing up this way?
We were in Alaska.
How many days?
3 months.
So Mark, what do you do for work?
Marketing,
Of what?
medical.
So Caleb, Carson, what are you guys bringing in? From Canada.
The gentleman's asking, are you bringing anything into Canada?
No jokes.
No jokes. Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing, huh? You guys in school yet?
Just some memories and some joy.
I said no
Guys in
jokes.
school
No
yet?
jokes.
No, they go online.
Homeschool.
So you study from home then?
Yeah.
Yes.
Through the border. passed the interrogation. He asked if we had any citrus, and Trisha's like, we have some blueberries. We have blueberries. I mean, she caved. If I ever need to get the truth out of Trish, I'm just gonna I'm gonna bring a border agent and like the citrus police. You guys have any citrus, any oranges, anything like that? We have blueberries. And other than that, it was a simple boarding crossing, but we got more questions from this border agent than any other border ever.
You've been coming home from Mexico.
Yes. Yeah, and once he was done with Trish and I, went back to the boys. So boys, you bringing anything into the States? What are you bringing in? What do you got there?
Just memories and joy.
Caleb says, just memories and joy. I said, I had to remind Caleb, no jokes. So what do you do for work? When it comes to those questions, I stick to my day job, keep it straightforward. I don't get into the nuances of blogging and vlogging and video work because that just perpetuates more questions. So if you have a peculiar job, I would suggest sticking with the simple answers.
Well, what is the broadest description of your job?
Yes.
This is not your opportunity to show off.
Yeah.
Well, I talk about the intricacies of life on the road. Okay? No.
Is that what KYD is about? Talking about the intricacies of life on the road?
Yes.
Well, there you have it. KYD.
Yeah.
Intricacies of the life on the road.
We don't need to be talking about that.
Speaking of the intricacies of life, let's make our way to Seattle and explore mooch donking at the Westby's.
Can you stop calling it that? I just hate it. Oh.
All right, we're just gonna take a quick little pit stop over here at this shopping center. And Trish is gonna get a few little groceries and some things before we head down to Seattle. We've learned with city driving that you wanna get everything you need when you're outside of the city, because once you get in there with the length, that you have a hard time stopping. Obviously, that's pretty obvious when I bring it up. Another thing that might be obvious is how to park in a parking lot of a shopping center like this one. So I thought I would provide a quick little tip, because I've learned this on several occasions. I typically go all the way to the back. Here, let me adjust that. I typically go all the way to the back like this, and I go all the way to the front and try to take up enough of this spot in front of me where someone wouldn't want to park there. Because I have learned that people have no concept of a rig. They're just doing their thing. They want to go run an errand, they see a parking spot, they park. They don't look around, they don't notice the rig. You'll have someone, there could easily be someone that parks right there, and someone can park behind me, and you are stuck. So I go to the end, and I go all the way into a spot where I can prevent someone from blocking in front of me. So keep that in mind when you go to shopping centers. It'll save you a lot of pain and aggravation. And then, of course, the advantage of being on the end is that you can bring the slide out and don't have to worry about it blocking any traffic and stuff like that. What are you doing?
I'm eating our blueberries.
Oh, good.
Non-smuggled.
Yes.
Not smuggled.
You mean innocent, guilty-free blueberries.
Guilt-free. There's duty-free and there's guilt-free.